Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we have our social media guru, Miss Terry Johnson. Terry Johnson online everywhere if you're looking for help with your social media. Terry's here all the way from New York City, and we are so glad to have her. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups. My partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva, is on the road streaming for people. So we are just so happy that she is engaged in the whole process also. So without further ado, how you doing, Bonnie? We got Bonnie, Jill, Pat,
Oh, okay.
everybody's
We
in
got
here.
a bunch of.
Girl,
Ooh.
there's gonna be a
Hello.
conversation
Good
today.
morning,
How you
all.
doing,
Hi,
Pat?
Jill. Hi, Bonnie. Oh, it's gonna be a hot one
It's gonna be a good one.
today. I'm glad everybody is here. Give me a second.
Yep. So we're going to get this party started shortly. We just want to say thank you for joining us. For those of you who will be watching on the replay, we say, hey, let us know that you've
Hey,
been here. Leave us a message. Don't forget to share. You might even want to start a watch party today. It looks like it's going to be hot. Hey,
it's
Terry,
gonna
what
be
you got for us today?
it's gonna be hot today. But first of all, I want to say, I almost said Fran. Like
I know.
Terralina said, welcome,
We're sort of
welcome
interchangeable
everybody.
sometimes.
Yeah. Um. Oh. Pat says Tuesday is tech with the biz chicks and beef with the chicken. Okay.
At the
She got
chicken house.
jokes.
Oh,
Breathing space. Good morning. That's Jill. I know that's Jill. Breathing space.
yep.
Bonnie is saying so everybody's saying hi in the chat. I'm gonna let everybody talk, and that's what we like to do. But welcome to today's marketing chat where we talk about digital marketing strategy and topics, social media, branding, SEO. We talk about all of the things that you need to know how to create a great strategy to grow your business online. So digital marketing and everything. But today it's a little different
Mm-hmm.
because we don't talk politics here
No.
specifically, but I like to bring up we like to bring up topics if it's business adjacent. And
Yeah.
this is business adjacent. So as you all know, things are going on in the world, and uh just things are going on. It's just really
Mm-hmm.
crazy, and we cannot ignore it. But I always try to bring you topics and things that have a business spin to it. If we're talking about social media platforms, I always talk about the business side of it because that's what you guys are. You guys are business owners, you're brand builders, you're starting out, or you are, you have a lot of experience and you need to know what's going on right now. So this is, I like to make this space where I bring that to you. And I got a feeling this is going to be a really big topic only because it's the world is changing. We
It's
had the
a needed
pandemic.
conversation.
Yes, we got the pandemic. People in the pandemic is still going on. COVID is still there, but there are other things that are happening and need to happen. So the world is in turmoil. It's not just the United States. It's over in the UK. It's other countries that are
New
putting on their own.
Zealand,
Yeah.
Germany, Brazil, Venezuela, Africa. I mean, just multiple countries all over
Um,
Africa.
just name it. But it's the root of it is started here in the United States for a reason, and I'm not going to get into that reason. We all know what it is. Things that were underground are being brought up. So I always like to talk about either fishing or gardening as part of marketing. So in this instance, the soil is being turned over for
Mm-hmm.
something new. It doesn't seem like that now, but that's what it's going to be because that's what happens when you come from the bottom up and everything gets the vase is broken, the flowers are on the floor, the water's there, but you clean it up and then things hopefully get better. So we got to keep
Mm-hmm.
that thought in mind. So always think about this is like you're turning over the new earth for to grow something that's better than what you had before. So
Oh, I
I
love that.
hope Yes, and Bonnie says hashtag business adjacent. Yes, thank you, Bonnie. I love that. So I mean that's the mindset that I'm coming from. There are all kind of factions. There are angry people. There are riots. There all of that is going on, but that's coming out of anger. So I want people to think, why is that happening? It's because there's a certain society that's angry,
Mm-hmm.
rightly so, and then trying to make the world see why we're angry. So that's why I always think of it. Okay, Earth is getting broken up, turnover. However you do it, shovel, mule, machinery. However you want to turn the Earth over, you gotta, you want to use a hoe to break up whatever it is. That's what's happening. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Barb is here. Hey, Barb. Bonnie says great metaphor. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you. And Barb is here. I'm always glad to see Barb. I'm always
Well,
glad to see
the
you.
birth of anything is kind of messy.
Oh yeah, you can thank all the women who are mothers. You know
Exactly.
there's a process to having a child, and it's not sometimes it's easy for some, and sometimes it's not. So that's a good analogy. Also, there are also some people who are not happy with what's going on. Those are some business owners who they're unfortunately their businesses have been burned and looted, and that's not right.
It
I don't
is
agree with
not.
that at all. But it's happening because of anger. Anger has no rhyme or reason. It should, but it doesn't. You're angry. When
Exactly.
you get angry, you break a plate, right? And I've done that, gotten angry, broken a plate. And you've gotten the energy of the anger out when you broke the
Mm-mm.
plate, right? So that's what's happening.
I
The
guess
energy.
I'm not a plate breaker, but okay.
I'm a plate. Well, I've done it once years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just saying that from doing that one thing, the
Uh-huh.
energy of the anger was dissipated with the breaking of the dish. And it was like, okay, it's just a dish. I got
Mm-hmm.
tons more, or I can go to the store and buy another dish.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the process. So I'm trying to get because how I came about this topic is that I'm in a lot of business groups,
Uh-huh.
marketing groups, business group, podcasting. So I've seen a lot of discussions in business groups about at least two people who are in business that are big names in the online marketing, online entrepreneur world.
Uh-huh.
And it got me to think, and it got me to thinking that I was like, okay, there's a disconnect happening, and we need to talk about it in this space because digital marketing, and I'm like, these two are digital marketers. Also, I've seen some large brands like Nike and Adidas, and there's lots of Apple, lots of other CEOs making a message about what's going on, and they're all using a black background. So if you've seen that online,
Mm-hmm.
the purpose of that, the purpose of the black background is to say they stand in solidarity with what's going on by using the black background. Also today there is something called hashtag Blackout Tuesday. Now we need to explain that because it's not Black Lives Matter. It's Blackout Tuesday, which it was the hashtag started by two people in the music industry that they wanted the music industry to shut down today and not do anything, release anything. But it's been co-opted by a lot of other groups. The movement is taken on. I've seen some people on my personal Facebook page using the hashtag Blackout Tuesday. So that's where it started, but it's beginning to be like, okay, I can use this hashtag to say something that I wanted to say about what's going on because it's not one thing. It's unfortunately it's an amalgamation of things now,
Yes.
and people are confused. A lot of people are confused and they don't know, well, what should I say? What should I do?
You would be surprised at the conversations that are happening internally in
Mm-hmm.
corporate America. They are
Yes.
trying to find out how to even talk to their employees.
Yes, that's Facebook is one example of that, and Twitter is another. So you see, there's two sides of how these corporations, especially social media and technology, are handling it. Google has a thing where their employees are saying stuff. There's a lot of unhappy Facebook employees. I was on my Twitter this morning, and one employee said he quit, not because of the stance that Zuckerberg took with the the tweet and the message that came from the administration, he was saying that he was unhappy for a while, and
Uh-huh.
this was the catalyst for him to quit Facebook. So he got a lot of praise for that. Also, on the other side of that, there are a lot of people that are staying with Facebook because of whatever reason. What I'm saying is all those reasons are valid and fine. If you want to stay at Facebook or company or whatever, even though you don't agree with the company culture, stay because you have bills to pay or you have a family or you that it doesn't make you wrong. See, it doesn't make you wrong to stay at Facebook. It doesn't make you wrong if you quit. Those are you do things for yourself. But what's happening is there a lot of anger and turmoil, especially from Gen Z and millennial. I'm going to get to that because I have a little personal story about that. Um, they lead the way, and I've been saying that for years. That I
Mm-hmm.
focus on Gen Z and millennials. I study what articles about what they think, what they like, what they do, because the youth drives society. And you can look back at the 60s. Remember, I mean, the 60s was a turmoil of war and counterculture, young people speaking out, doing things differently from their parents. So there was also that side with their parents who didn't understand because they grew up in a different time, World War II and all that. So those two sides didn't see eye to eye on anything. So we're having a repeat of that now where the younger generation is tired of the environment being a problem, climate change, racism,
Mm-hmm.
no jobs, the unemployment, economics, the administration, roll all up and then put pandemic on top of that. Remember, we've been sheltering in place for
Yes, we
almost three
have.
months. So I've seen a lot of people say they don't understand why they're angry. They don't understand why they're looting. There's all sorts of factions and different things. And it
Oh
was
my gosh. Okay.
there is a core cause, but then you have bad actors that attack the core cause and co-opted it for their own and tried to make a narrative and try to spin it.
Well,
So that
there's always a group that says they don't understand. And it just
yes,
throws me back to the plane ride from college when I was
yes.
sent home when Martin Luther
Mm-hmm.
King died. And
Mm-hmm.
HBCU campuses were evacuated because they were under
Mm-hmm.
attack.
Right.
And so I'm on this plane riding from Nashville to Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
And now we just got an opportunity to start riding in these planes less than 3-4 years prior to that.
Right.
Lunch counters. And the guy turns to me and says, "What's wrong with your people?"
Wow. Is this at the beginning of the plane ride, the middle, or the
This
end, or?
is at the beginning of the plane ride.
Wow.
I'm like,
So
look, I'm
that's
just
a
trying to
ride.
get home. And I don't want to have this conversation with you.
Wow.
So I'm just saying that to say that the fact that people don't understand has been going on for quite a while.
Yes. That's been going on for quite a while. And that's a part of the conversation, the anger, the things that you see going on is that people are like, the younger generation is like, we're tired. We don't want this racism. We don't want this police
We've
brutality.
got
We're
comments coming in
tired.
here too, Terry.
Yeah, okay. So I figured that. So
Yeah.
let me go back to Brenna. Yeah, Brenna had a big one. She says, my heart goes out to the business owners, especially that gentleman that was just opening his business with his life savings. Looting is something we pay for later, whether in taxes or societal issues. Yes, you're absolutely right, Brenna. But I want to explain to you that this generation, they don't care about that. It's unfortunate, but they're so angry that they don't care about that they're burning businesses that their aunt or
Well, I want to
mother.
say this too, that some of these demonstrations have been hijacked by people who have
Yes,
an
that's what I
agenda
was
to
saying.
make the movement look violent.
Right. So that's what I said. There are some bad actors that have co-opted this movement to make a stand for what they care about. We're not going to talk about them, but just keep that in mind when you see things that are happening now. It was agitated by agitators that
Exactly.
weren't for the cause. So that's what I'm saying. It's wrapped. There's so many pieces wrapped up that we got to look at each piece. But I want
a lot of
to
layers.
but I want to address what Brennan said, because that gentleman, I saw the story. He was on Sunday. He was on CBS Sunday Morning, and I saw that story. And I went online. They had a GoFundMe. The last time I checked, his GoFundMe was 866,000. It's probably more than that now for this gentleman in Minneapolis, right? Yeah, Minneapolis. That his whole life, he's a firefighter, and
Wow.
his whole life savings he put into this bar. He was going to open in March before COVID happened. He couldn't open up, so he was looking forward to opening up, because they were going to open up in June. But now his store has been burnt down. Everything is burnt down. The building is demolished. So everybody was touched by his little. I saw a little snippet of his story where he cried about it. He told it. So he started a GoFundMe, and it's just astronomical. It's probably over 1 million now. But that's what's happening with business owners who have their business like that, and they're unfortunately being targeted, or that's what they're getting, and that's unfortunate.
And it's
It's
sad.
very unfortunate.
Now, Gabby has a comment about it being sad.
Gabby says, sadly, many people are taking advantage and looting just because a huge YouTube celebrity is currently being blasted for this. Yes, that would be what is this? Jake Paul, the Gen Z kid that he's always controversial. He's always had trouble. He did something we talked about before where he went to film. There's a suicide forest in Japan, and he went there and filmed somebody. He's problematic. So I'm not even paying attention to him. He's just trying to get and co-opt the message. He's another one trying to get in to that. Brenda says, really don't understand. Take time to learn history and humanity. Exactly. And Khalid, hey Khalid, he said racism needs to stop. Exactly. That's the whole point of this. The young people are tired, and that's where the anger comes from. I'm not talking about the looters. I'm talking about the protesters. There's a difference, but you don't know, because some people decided to co-opt this movement and make a negative part of it. Gabby says many of these demonstrations have been hijacked. Right. For example, the church near the White House was not set on fire by BLM, Black Lives Matter protesters, but they're being blamed for it. Exactly. See, that's what's happening. There's another faction of this that they're on the side of hate. You know who they are. There's many more than that one with the 3 letters. There's many more, but they took this opportunity to say, okay, we're going to get in there. And there's been video showing people that are not a part of what was going on, starting the looting and breaking of windows and burning of businesses.
And messing up cars, and
there's video everywhere. So, you can go, and if you want to look, it's there. Brenda says, my answer would have been, what's wrong with you people killing in the name of religion, justifying your travesties against other human beings because of the Bible you use? Exactly. So that's another faction that we got to put in.
Please don't. Oh, did you see that photo op? But we don't want.
Yeah. So
we're trying not to go there.
Yeah. So the administration decided to stage a photo op and gas and tear gas
the peaceful protesters. So he could get to the front of the church.
Yeah, and take a photo with the Bible. So that's on Twitter. That's online. You can go see it. We're not going to talk about that. I'm sorry, I didn't put the banner up. What are we talking about? Is it business as usual? So that's the topic I want to get to today. We had a lot, we do a lot of prelim talking about, the topping and what have you. But how I came up with this, is it business as usual, because of the times we're in. Remember the pandemic, and now we have unrest in America and other places. And a lot of people are not addressing it at all. They're just putting on rose-colored glasses and selling their courses and talking about this, that, and the other, which is fine. That's fine. But the situation is, what do you say? or should you say? And I know a lot of people think business owners I'm talking about now, not protesters and people. There's plenty of things going on Twitter. If you want to see what the conversation is like, go to Twitter. You don't have to sign up. You can just go and search and look what's there. But there are a lot of business owners, and I mentioned at the when we started that there are two that I found that I wanted to talk about because they put out a message that what didn't sit right with their community, and they got blasted for it. And I'm going to show a example of that. But I really wanted to show what hold on.
What Nike did on Friday?
Yes. Thank you. You reading my mind?
No, I'm reading. I'm following business because I thought it was so phenomenal.
Okay.
And
I have it. Hold on. I just started playing
there were
my
people
ear.
calling me to say, what kind of response should I have? I'm in corporate America. They're asking me about this, and I don't know what to say. Because
Right.
I don't know if other people are aware of this, but when you are the only Black person in the room, suddenly you become an authority on all Black people for generations.
Okay, but so before I show that, I see some more comments. Brenda says that's great. They've helped him with the GoFundMe. Yes, that's the first thing I think of when anytime I hear a story like this about somebody that's in trouble. I go and see if they have a GoFundMe. I try to give if I can, and I see what it's about. So he has one. I'm going to check it later. It's probably over 1 million. Bonnie says great title. Thank you, Bonnie. And Brenda says hijacking to demonize an action to make it negative is despicable. I agree.
It is. The other thing is that you will see a lot of good Samaritans showing up to help these guys at least clean up. They may not be able to have a lot of money. They might not be able to write a check, but they're able to do something.
Yes, I've seen that. If so,
to help
again,
the healing begin.
If you go to Facebook or Twitter and search around, you'll see lots of videos. I saw one with a woman whose store was broken into. I don't know what city it is because right now it's any city. It was
any city safe.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was Minneapolis. It was Louisville. Now it's everywhere. So I don't know what city it was, but she did a video that they broke her store windows and was trying to take all her inventory, but two Black men, and I'm saying large because they were, to say stay away, that they stood in front of her building and chased everybody away. And she was really grateful for that. So that's where you can do things. You don't have to protest, is my point. You don't have to protest.
You can stand up for right.
Right. You don't have to protest. There are different ways you can give money to any kind of organization you choose. Do the research on that. You can make a post saying how you're feeling. I don't know how to feel. Make a post say I don't know how to feel. Just say whatever it is that you need to say. But what I'm saying is, if you don't know what to say, be silent and absorb. Because that's what I did. I go to Twitter. I'm like, I'm looking, I'm reading. I'm going to Facebook. I'm looking and reading and getting absorbing. And then I posted something today on my personal Facebook, which I will also post some things later. But what I'm saying is, I gather my mind and my thoughts together before I say anything, because that will keep you from saying something that's tone deaf or not the right tone. And I saw a lot of people telling celebrities that were saying the wrong thing to read the room. So this is what I'm saying to you. Read the room, see what's going on, read other people's posts, get a feeling for yourself. So this morning I woke up with a song lyric in my head from Aaliyah. She has a song, I'm not sure the title, but it's We Need a Resolution. There's a whole song. But I woke up with that in my head. And I'm like, okay, that's where I'm going to lead with what I'm saying with her lyrics that she said. Because I'm like, I woke up with it in my head for a reason. So that's the way I'm going. But I've seen a lot of people post, they don't know what to say, that they're sorry, they're confused. Whatever it is, think about it. Be silent, think about it, read what's going on, and say what you have to say. Don't let someone, when you post something, don't let someone else tell you you're wrong, because you're not wrong. All voices need to be heard in this situation. Unfortunately, I've seen people online respond to other people's thoughts and tell them they're wrong. It's their thoughts. They're not wrong.
I can't tell you how to feel.
Right. So, for example, I was reading somewhere today, and I saw that they talked about the singer Pink. You know, Pink, the singer.
Yes.
Um, she posted something, along the lines of that how she felt, and that she basically stated, I don't care if you unfollow me because you don't like what I'm saying. So she got a lot of pushback from that from people who are on one side of the fence saying, how could you support looters and this? And she's like, this is it's her account, she's allowed to say what she feels.
Hello.
This is where you have to think about, how are you going to handle someone who doesn't agree with you on
Mm-hmm.
your account? How are you going to delete? Will you respond with anger, or you respond with a thought, or will you
Mm-hmm.
ignore it? All of those choices are right. Here's another example. Marc Jacobs, I read yesterday. Marc Jacobs, the designer, he also said some things on his social media about, how he feels about the situation. And then if you don't like it, unfollow him. He also, one of his showrooms, I think it was in LA, he took the sign and crossed out his name and wrote Sandra Bland on top of it and George Floyd on the bottom of it to say this is what he feels. That he's not, and you could go to Twitter and search Marc Jacobs, Marc Jacobs, and you will see the things that he's saying, because that's how he feels. And he's like, I don't care that I'm a designer. I don't care that I might lose followers, or you might not buy my items. He doesn't care. He's saying what he has to say and how he feels about it. Let's see some comments. I saw some
Mm-hmm.
comments pop up. Carlos. Carlos
Hey,
says,
God.
"My thoughts are always wrong." No, they're not. No, they're not. Breathing space. Social media silence is not, or not posting in the same lane as everyone else should not be judged. Social media posting to take advantage of COVID-19 and protesting is questionable. Go back to your why. Thank you. Thank you for that, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to your why. And
Mm-hmm.
also, how do you feel? It's okay to say how you feel. If you don't understand, say I don't understand.
And
And
that's
if
okay.
you want, that's okay. And if you want somebody to help you understand, ask for help and understanding. Now you will get, I've seen some people that say, well, it's not up to me to tell you what to do. Kind of ignore that, because asking, I always see that asking is the right thing a lot. And this goes back to kids in school. I don't even go, they have a problem with asking the teacher, but the teacher is there to teach. So if you have a question and you need to know why, I need some clarification, say it in the right way, and then see if someone is willing to explain to you what's going on. I've seen a lot of that too. I've seen a lot of people go, I don't know what's going on. Could somebody help me understand? And then people will come, helpful people will come
Mm-hmm.
in and explain. And then there's some unhelpful people that will go, oh, say negative things. So you
Yes.
kind of have to ignore that. So it has to come from a genuine place. You have to say, what is your why? Why are you on? Carlos says, I must be stopped. Gabby says, I think people have the right to express how they feel. I also feel that people need the right to not feel pressured into expressing those feelings online. Thank you. I appreciate that too, because I love that thought. And this is where I'm going with it. Even though Nike and Marc Jacobs and Pink and all these other people are saying things, you don't have to say anything. You don't feel have to be feel pressured to say anything. As a business owner, you don't have to. But again, don't just go around like everything is, oh, la di da, everything is rosy. Like, it's not. So if you want to acknowledge the pain of others, you can, or not. I mean, some people are posting pictures of flowers or thoughtful quotes, or saying, we need to have positivity in the world. And that's good too, because we need that. We need that. So now we're not going to talk about anybody that's not saying anything about what's going on, because they may be confused. I don't know if it's Black Lives Matter. I don't know if it's Blackout Tuesday. I don't know if it's protesters. I don't know if it's looters. I stand on the side of small business owners. I do too. I don't like the fact that their businesses are burning, but things are going on with the youth, and they're angry. There's the pandemic. There's unemployment. They graduated without a job. They see nothing in front of them
and
but
no rite of
hopelessness.
passage. They didn't
Right.
even get.
They
They
didn't
didn't
have
get to
graduation.
celebrate.
Thank you. They didn't have graduation. They didn't have a prom. I'm not saying that's right for them to loot if they're looting, but they have a right to protest. Now, because we talked about the ones that are looting and stealing and burning, that's wrong. But that may be a different faction from the ones that I'm talking about that are truly, honestly angry and want a change. That's what I'm tell you. All in that mix. There's
Not to
some good.
mention, Terry, that this is the first. What would you say? Social gathering in 3 months, and it
Yes,
has a purpose.
that's why I'm bringing it up, because you have to remember that we've been in,
They've been
we've
cooped
been
up. Yeah.
we've been cooped up. So a lot of that energy is expanding, and a lot of it is anger. Anger, and some people, I won't say who, have thrown fuel onto that fire by the things that they tweeted. You know, if read between the lines. They've done things to throw fuel on the fire for a reason. So this is why reasonable heads need to prevail. I've seen a lot of anger, but I've seen a lot of older people going out to talk to the younger ones. I put on my story. I found a video. There was 3 black men. One was older. One was in the
Regeneration.
yes, their 30s, and one was 16. And the millennial was telling the other that the older one was angry. The millennial one in the middle was telling him, we got to do better because I've been out here. So he turned to the 16-year-old and said, I want you to look at this and I want you to do better. Come up with a better way. And I thought that message was so great that he talked to them and said, listen, I acknowledge your anger, but we got to do something different.
Yeah.
Things have to be done differently. So there's a lot of, what I'm trying to say, there's a lot of messages out there. You don't have to feel, like Gabby said, thank you. You don't have to feel pressured into expressing it online. I had a link. I don't know what I did with it, but there was a link of different places where you can donate, or you can, it was a whole list of things. I have to find it. I was trying to find it before we went on live. I will post it later. But there was
I
a
was
link.
gonna say,
Somebody
you can
put
put it in the chat when we
yeah,
finish.
when I find it. But it's saved somewhere in my many things that I've saved for looking at this. But it was a list of things that you could do if you didn't want to protest. Basically, that's what it was. It was like, you don't want to protest, that's fine. Here's a list of things that you can do to help. And you're not helping a cause, you're not helping one cause, you're helping society. It's like, you do this. And I hate that I can't find it. It's somewhere in all of my things that I couldn't find. But okay, but also, no, yes, I'm trying to think, should I tell my story about my family member who's a Gen Z? Should I tell it now or after Nike? No, okay, let's do Nike first.
Okay.
So I got the video. I'm going to screen share it.
Okay.
Yeah. And make sure the sound is on so you can hear
Yes.
it.
Don't you love that when you share and you forget to press the audio?
Come on.
Give it a second.
Okay.
It's here.
Is it there? Can you see it?
Okay. Yeah, we just need it large.
All right, so we're gonna play it.
And can you go full screen on that?
Yeah. Okay. So I love that. Because, and let's do some background on this. Nike has always used, their message has always been about aligning with what's going on with society as far as the youth Gen Z, because they know who their audience is. They know what their message is. If you remember, a few years ago, they had something with Colin Kaepernick,
Hmm.
the former player, was it San Francisco? Yeah, former player, that he took a knee, and they asked. It caused a whole ruckus of why dare you, but he was taking the knee. He said because he wanted to bring awareness for police brutality against the black community. But again, it got co-opted. People got mad, started burning their Nike stuff, and Nike was like, "We don't care." So here we are, a few years later. Nike's still in the mix with, we're going to, be a part of the brand message. This came out on Friday. I think they were like one of the first
They
big
were amongst the
corporations
first.
band to say. So Adidas followed up. Apple. There is like, once Nike put out this video and posted it everywhere, it's like all the brands went, okay, now we can say something. Okay.
I think it was because it set the tone. People didn't know how to say it or what
Mm-hmm.
to say,
Right.
and or what the impact would be on their business if they said something. But once you lead from the front, so once
Yes.
that leader came out and had a solemn message with a positive undertone of empathy, then people had a better understanding of how to frame their message.
Right. So that, I think after Nike did their thing on Friday, that's when I saw a lot of other
And
corporate
some
brand messages.
businesses just retweeted it. They didn't even try to figure out, you know what I mean? They didn't have the
Hmm.
capacity.
Right. And there was some comments I want to put up. Brendan says, I haven't been posting as much for business because I feel it's out of place and insensitive to the current climate. And see, that's okay. That's okay. But why I'm bringing this up is because I saw some other people in some of my groups being angry because some of these online entrepreneurs that they bought products from, courses and B school, and which I'm going to get into, they didn't post anything, or they posted wrong thing. Okay, but before I do that, I wanted to mention something, um a little personal. Bonnie says, that's perfect. Khalid says, my big brown eyes are filled with tears. Love that. Yes, Nike always strikes the right tone. They
Hmm.
always do. Gabby crying. Bonnie says, Nike was really brave to step up and do that. I thought that's what it is, Bonnie. Before they did it on Friday, because Friday seems like a long way away to me.
It does, doesn't it?
It seems like a month ago, but when they did it on Friday, no brand, no corporation was saying anything. No business was really saying anything because, like I said, they didn't know what to say. But Nike kind of knows their audience. They know their message. They know their why. So they put this together. I'm getting a little feedback. Is that me?
No,
Well, okay.
I
All
think
right.
that's
So,
good.
oh, because
Sorry.
let me make sure I close the, yeah, close the tab. So I brought up this Nike thing because, and see, I wanted to get the perspective from somebody who's really in that age group. So I have
Okay.
a family. So I have a family member that went to one of the riots in one of the cities, and I
Okay.
did not know. We didn't know until they posted it on Facebook that they were at the riot, and I was really upset. But I talked to them and they told me why. But I was upset because there was tear gas there. They got hit with the rubber bullets, and I'm like, things you. I won't get into the conversation, but I was like, why are you doing this? And they said, and I talked to them on, this is all on Snapchat, so I'm bringing up my Snapchat. I don't want to post it, but I'm just going to mention a couple of things. They said, because this is needed, not scared of them at all, but I'm here, it's okay. So then I said, something serious could have happened. And the response was, I understand, but serious things have already been happening. Kanye shrugged. Right. So then I thought about what, we're doing the show today, and I wanted their response about the Nike, Adidas, and the whole brands talking about this to their generation. So they wrote me a long message, but I'm going to try to pull out. Um, so they said, I don't know what else there is to say about brands speaking out. Many of them breathe our culture. At the end of the day, white people and these brands gawk at our athletes, at our style, at our physiques. So, oh, there it is. So yes, they should be vocal about it all. Our people make much of their brand. That doesn't just
Mhm.
go for Nike and Adidas. My thing is don't appropriate the culture and get silent when it's uncomfortable. Brands wouldn't be what they are today. Our people deserve it. The people, it's really long. The people who
That's
represent
okay.
their
Take your
brands,
time.
our people deserve it. The people who represent their brands, who they sponsor, deserve it. It would say a lot about the brand if they remain silent. Stolen people brought the stolen land, forced into stolen labor, built this country. The least they can do is tell people not to brutalize us. So that was a statement right out of the mouth of a Gen Z person who went to, in my family, who a family member I love dearly, went to uh the protest. We did not know. We found out after the fact. I don't know what I would have done if they had told me they were going. I probably would have said don't go. But this is how they feel, the thoughts that are coming from them, that they have to be a part of this, even though, and this person's not a part of the looting and rioting. She was just there, wanted to
Hmm.
be a part of it and document it. And that's their words. That's their words. Um, Brenna says, very thought provoking. As I stream tears, I love that. I remember when they were trying to make shoes for Native Americans because their studies and testing showed their feet step are different. It was interesting. And Jill says, a time comes when we ask, what are you willing to die for? What are you willing to lose business over? What are you okay with losing relationships over? Thank you. Thank you, Jill, for saying that. That's a part of this. It's like, what are you willing to say?
Hmm.
What are you willing to stand for? What is your story? What is your thought process? How do you feel about it? Because all these thoughts and opinions matter. Because you need to know, the more information you have, the more knowledge you have about how other cultures think and what's on their minds, even different generations. That's why I asked them. It's because I want to know. I kind of know, but I really wanted to know. So I was glad that they shared that with me. Um, so that was a part of my experience, because I was thinking, I was like, I don't know anybody going to any of the protests and riots. Like, things are going here in New York. They're going downtown and breaking into Chanel and all the designers. Things are. I'm like, I'm not a part of that. I'm at home. I'm still
Exactly.
sheltering in place because COVID. So, but this
Exactly.
is what's going on. The youth is upset and they've been inside. So this is what you're seeing.
Well, I would say that people are
Mhm.
upset because I see
Yes.
intergenerational stuff going on down
Oh
there.
yeah, it is. It
There's
is.
some
It
there's some
is.
real grown folks down there
It's
too.
different. It's different cultures. It's not just black or white. It's everybody there. There's different age groups. There's different everything, and that's the great thing about it. That everybody is waking up and seeing the message and listening to one another, or trying to. There are some people that aren't listening, and we know that everything's not perfect. But at least there's a conversation going on, and you see what's going on. And like I said,
Excuse me.
ask if you don't know. If you
Hmm.
don't know what's going on, why are they doing this? Why? Ask somebody. Ask a Gen Z. Ask a millennial. Ask a boomer. Ask a Gen X. We're still in there. Um,
Hmm. Yes,
ask.
people, this is not the first time tanks have been on the corner.
Right. Ask. So there was a time in the 60s, like Terrelita said, that was a volatile time. And history has shown everything that happened then. So if you don't, I see it paralleling, because there's two different generations thinking differently and not understanding each other. And back then, the youth didn't care. They're like, some of them didn't care. And then you have to remember, going to the lunch counters back in the 60s, there were teenagers that
Yep.
went to the lunch counters down south with the dogs and the hoses and the that violence. Those were kids. Those weren't adults. Those were kids. And look what resulted from that. So that's what I'm saying. There are people that are focusing on the looting
Thanks,
and the
Ronnie.
rioting.
Hashtag Ask Boomer.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Yes. We
Hashtag
can tell
ask
you
a
some
boomer.
stories.
Yeah, ask.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
you cannot. You cannot form your opinion from watching TV
And,
because
and
there's a narrative.
and the thing is, people say that, these things do not create change. That is not true.
That's not true at all.
That's
Just look
not
at
true.
history.
Let
I'm
me
a
give you
history
an
lover.
example.
I love history. I'm a history lover, a history buff. I love history because that story, it tells you what happened during. We can even go back and think about the last pandemic, 1918 Spanish flu. What happened then? There's lots of books and stories about that. That's history. What happened in the 60s with the counterculture and the peace, love, and all of that, and then the older generation, World War II generation, and like, you're crazy. You guys, that whole clash, all of that's
Yeah.
been documented, and we've reliving it now. So that's why I said I had to ask somebody that I know that's a Gen Z, what is going on? What is your feeling, particularly about Nike and Adidas? So that was their thoughts. That listen, corporations are corporations are making money off of using this or using that image or whatever. They should speak up.
Yeah.
Claudia, hey Claudia. Oh, let me. I skipped Bonnie's. Not the first time tanks have been on the corner. So sad but true. Right. Gabby says, my father said it looked and felt like 1962 again. He's pretty emotional about seeing the fires in DC. See, a lot of people who grew up that in that time period are seeing the parallel between what happened in the 60s and what happening now. The whole clash of generations and who thinks what, and there are people pouring salt on the wound and fuel on the fire. Claudia says, I love that the world has unveiled their thoughts. My cousin lives in England and my good friend lives in Germany, and they are equally upset with the goings on in America. Yes, I've seen that too, Claudia. I've seen, some forum that I'm on. Also, I read, some other non-American news sites, and I've seen that they stand in solidarity. They've had their own protests and marches, and also some of these things that we're seeing is happening over there. That
Now this is something that makes this whole thing unusual, and that is that in the 60s, we did not have the internet. We could not
yes,
connect that Pan Africanism, but now
mm-hmm,
we can connect it like that with a tweet, with a meme, with a message, with
mm-hmm,
WhatsApp. We can cut through this thing and connect it globally. And so I think that is one thing that's going to make a difference in your business, because
yes,
business will always take place. We're always going to need something. And
right,
the idea that these communities are willing to support one another. That's why I'm glad it's an interracial movement. In
mm-hmm,
addition to that, I just want to say that, people say, oh, why are they tearing everything up? This is going to, nothing's going to be accomplished by this. But I want you to know that the movement of the 60s and eventually the riots, out of that came a lot of things. Out of that came integration, out of that came affirmative action, out of that came the ability for me not to have to pee on the side of the road when I went south to visit my grandfather, because
right,
there were no hotels, there were no rest stops. I didn't have to have a green book to figure out where it was safe to stop and eat. Uh,
right,
so things did improve.
yes.
So we can, you can look at this a number of ways, folks.
Okay, so and another part of this, what's going on in business wise is, like I said in the beginning, I saw some things happening with two online entrepreneurs on
Uh-huh.
Facebook. One is Marie Forleo. Is that how you say her name? Forleo. She's like a big online entrepreneur. She has something called B School, and she sold a lot of courses, and help people grow their businesses or start their businesses online. Unfortunately, I was in one of my other groups, and someone was asking, how do I well, this one was Russell Brunson. He's the founder of ClickFunnels. If you've heard of ClickFunnels, is
Yes.
where you can go and start your funnels and everything. So this person was asking, how can I get away from ClickFunnels and use something else, because they had problems with his messaging that
Mm.
he put on his Facebook page on Friday. So I went to I'm trying to, while I'm talking, I'm bringing it up. I went to
Yeah.
Russell's page, and I had the link. Hold on, guys. Russell
This
Brunson,
green,
and
the
I had
green
the
book. I
link.
actually, my
Hmm.
grandfather had one. We went south every other summer.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a link to his Facebook page, and there we go. Oh, hey, William's here. So let me go back to
Mhm.
the comments before we talk about the post. Well, I put a
Okay.
link to his page. Let's see, Claudia. Oh, Patricia. Pat said that's really interesting, Brenna. I remember when I was a little kid, my dad taught me how to walk correctly like a Native American, like his stepdad had taught him. Some of them definitely do have a different walking take. Okay, so they're talking about the Native American part of what my family member was talking about. Brenda says also they are protesting in other countries is amazing. William, hey William, he says, yep, the Green Book. Brenda says, you are a badass book. She wrote that. Okay. And then yeah, I said hi, William. Then I put the link to Russell Brunson as Russ Brunson. So it's still going on, but basically what happened over the weekend, like that's why I showed the Nike video, because Friday, that's when everybody really started, businesses started to talk about what was going on. Before that, we didn't, but now we're in a different spot because Friday seems like a month ago. But he posted on his page, and he deleted it, and I wanted to read it, but he deleted it. Something about whatever he said, it didn't it didn't fit his audience. That he has, you know, there were some of his African American black customers that didn't like what he said. Whatever he said was wrong.
Mhm.
So he took it down, and then he put up another post, and it's long, but I wanted to pull some of it from there. And the link, you can go there. I'm not going to show it on the screen, but he said, in the last 48 hours, I received countless messages criticizing me for why I uh, in quotes, an influencer, haven't posted anything, and that by not posting, I was showing that I am a racist. I then posted why I was struggling to post and stated that I was going to pray for direction on how I could help. Then the messages came about how what I said and how I said it was wrong. So he said he felt horrible about the post and he took it down. And he's saying maybe that was a wrong approach. Maybe I should have offered a different solution, but it's the thing that I'm able to do with my unique abilities. If there are other or better ways to help, I'm all open for them. And yes, I have been donating money and signing petitions as well. So he had a awakening from his audience who said that they didn't like what he said because it didn't fit everyone in his audience. So again,
Mm.
this is where if you don't know what to say I don't know what to say, can somebody help me? So that's what he said in this post, but he didn't say it in the original post. He deleted it, so I don't know what it said. But what drew me to this whole situation, I didn't know what was going on this weekend. Actually, Sunday it really blew up that people were upset because Russell Brunson and also Maria Forleo, she has a B school. She did the same thing Sunday in her group, that she deleted everything that had to do with Black Lives Matter and the whole protest and everything. She was just trying to keep it business only. Like nothing, like don't come in, like no political posts at all. So that angered a lot of people who said, listen, first of all, I spent my money with you because whatever program she has is thousands of dollars.
Mhm.
I spent my money with you, and there's no representation of me in this group, and you're deleting, or your moderators are deleting all the Black Lives Matter black posts about being angry and whatever, and that was wrong. So now they're attacking her on her page, and let me see, I'm going to put a link to that so you guys can go on. She doesn't have any posts there that's, have blackout or black. She doesn't do that. None of that is there. But people are putting comments on her last post about her business. Let me put that there in the link also.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys go and go and read. All you have to do is go to these pages and look at the top posts, because the most recent ones are on top. So
Uh-huh.
these are two online entrepreneurs who, one said the wrong thing and one deleted the messages from her audience in the
Mm-hmm.
group. I didn't put a link to the group. I put a link to her page because her group is private. You have to be a member. But
Mm-hmm.
members of her group came out of her group into my group and was saying things. People went to Russell Brunson's page. He runs ClickFunnels. It's a big business. Everybody, not
Well,
everybody.
I'm
A lot of
opening
people
on
use
his
it.
page.
Hmm.
He says it was hard not to react, but instead to try my best to listen. I want to thank everyone who commented, especially
Hmm.
those who reached out to me personally. I've
Hmm.
learned so much in the last
Yeah,
48 hours.
yeah.
I have
I didn't read his recent post. I read his post
yeah,
after the one after he deleted, where he was explaining what happened. So he had several posts where he talked to people,
he's
and
asked for grace.
yeah, yeah. So he's talked to people who he's friendly with and done business with, that are black, and he talked to them and got a perspective from them, because again, confusion. He didn't know what to say. He might I don't know, because I wasn't there at the beginning when he put that post up. It's deleted. People might have reacted differently or said that this was wrong. I don't know what was said, but he's come out and said, I don't know what to say. And then he said a couple other things that people got upset with. He was like, oh, I'm going to donate money to a documentary to have black people tell their stories. And somebody was like, we don't want that. That's wrong. That's the wrong thing to say, because you're trying to say something in the empty space and you don't know what to say. So you say you say that what you think, what that audience wants to hear, but it's wrong. So now he's right with saying, I don't know, I didn't know what to say. I'm sorry for whatever. I'm going to think about it and I'm going to reflect. So he talked to other people who we're friends with, who would, guide him on what to say or the situation. And now his last post has a more correct tone that is for his audience. So what I'm saying is that he's saying, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But before when his message, I didn't see it, it got deleted. He was probably saying what he thought people wanted to hear. And
Yes.
there's two different things.
Yeah. As
Because if
opposed
you
to
say,
what's really on your heart.
as a business owner, if you say what you think your audience wants to hear in this situation, you might be wrong. So you need to be honest and say, this is how I feel. That's why I said at the top of the hour, think about it, read what's going on, and then say what's on your mind, how you feel. If you understand, say, I understand, and this is how I feel. Or if you don't understand what's going on, say, I don't understand, I'm confused. Someone will help you. You will also get some pushback from people saying you should know better or you should know.
Yeah.
Ignore that and focus on the people that are going to come. uh, Ignore that and focus on the people that are going to come and help you
That's
understand
that's
what's going on.
good, Terry. That's really
Mhm.
good advice.
Okay. So Jill says people that were previously ignorant are now opening their eyes. Yes, that's what's happening with the two people that I mentioned. Brenna says I deleted others political posts in my business group. Before all this happened, I sent a private message to those that posted politically stating I support them and their views. Please post on my personal page. Norwex VP is strictly clean related. You can't serve appease everyone. Okay, so I'm glad you said that, Brenna, because see, Brenna works for she's a representative for a corporation, and she
Mm-hmm.
has a group, and she can't speak for Norwex. So that's why she's saying don't speak in here on that, because this is not my group. This is Norwex's group.
This is not the
If
forum for that.
I'm not quieting you. I want you to put those posts on my personal page. So no, Brenda, you're right, because your business is based on, you're selling products from a corporation, so you can't speak for them, and they are going to have certain things, guidelines that she has to adhere to in the Facebook
Mm-hmm.
group, because that's not her. It's her Facebook group. She's running it, but it's based off of the company. So that's perfectly fine, Brenda, to say, come over here, to make another space or to come on my personal page or come over
Yeah,
here
I love that.
because that corporation is not allowing that kind of conversation in this group because it's based off of them. So no, you're absolutely right, Brenda. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the right thing to do. The thing is with the Marie Forleo one is that she quieted people's voices without allowing them to have something. She could have. This is the way you could do it. I don't understand what's going on. I'm not sure. I'm still processing it. But here's a post for everyone to how they feel, to put on this post how they feel. That's what you do instead of deleting people's posts and messages when they are hurting, when they want to have a voice. You don't silence their voice, even though it's her group. It's not the way to handle it, and now there's a backlash, which you don't
Mm-hmm.
want that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I posted her public. That's her public page. It's everything that happened in her private group, but it spilled out of her private group onto her public Facebook page. So that's why I put the link so you can go see what's there. So her last post is about something about business, but the comments are just okay. That's not good. So her audience is saying how they feel, and I see a lot of this in the groups, especially with the group. One of the groups that I'm in, they're also into digital marketing. The owner is she's an online entrepreneur. She has classes and things like that. But in her group, she said, "Listen, I support." I support what's going on with the protests and everything. This is a safe space for anyone, African American, Black, to speak and say how you feel. We're not going to police this group. This is a safe space for you. So a lot of people came in and saying that they're unhappy with seeing all of these courses and business schools and things and speak summits and when we used to do in-person speaking engagements, all of the summits and everything, that there wasn't a lot of people of color on
Mm-hmm.
these summits as speakers, or a lot of these businesses didn't include other voices. It was just one face, one voice, and they didn't include anybody else. So a lot of people were saying that they're tired of giving their money to those kind of programs and not seeing themselves represented. So that's another opening for people who are doing stuff online or business owners or whatever to think about inclusion. Is
Mm-hmm.
basically what they're saying.
Yes.
So they're spending money with Marie Forleo. They're spending money with Russell Brunson, but they're not seeing themselves represented at the conventions or the summits when we used to have them in person. And a lot of people have said that's what upset them, that they went to these events and didn't see themselves represented on stage with the speakers. If that makes sense. So
Yes.
I've I've been reading a lot of stuff online, and this is the condensed. I tried to squeeze it into an hour of what's going on right now. Tomorrow is going to be a different thing because we're volatile. Things are changing every hour. So this is what up to the minute what's happening now. Is it business as usual? This is what brands are doing. This is what corporations are doing. This is what online entrepreneurs, some are doing. Also, CEOs of these companies are also saying things and standing out. And a lot of response I saw to the CEOs was like, okay, that's good. That's lip service. But what are you doing to change it in your company or your corporation?
Who's on your
Will you
board? Who
who's on
knows
your
the
board?
divisions?
Who's your managers? That's what they're saying. You can say I stand with you, or and have a black background, which, and I've seen a lot of logos like Facebook and Instagram turn their logo black. They had black it's like, okay, that's great, but what are you doing in the company itself to affect change or to make it safe for people to talk? Or give us that. Give us more than, it's good to post a black screen today, but give us more of action. What are you doing and thinking now that you know? What's the action? What's the action? Brenda says, my VIP group is where I can say anything that I want. The post was when Kaepernick knelt, I had great disdain for the Cheeto, but I stick it to business. My business page is where the Norwex has a say and has access. Okay, good. So she has a different group. So but Brenda, you're handling it correctly, because the Norwex page, there's a certain thing standard that has to go on because that's their business page and you're affiliated with them. But if you've got your own personal, this is my VIP page or group, it's perfectly fine to handle it that way. To say you can come over to this group, but not my page. So, and it's confusing. Everything is confusing. How do what do I say? I'm not saying anything. People are attacking me. If I say something, it's the wrong thing. People are attacking me. What do? So you take a breath and you think about it, read a little bit what's going on, and honestly put your thoughts and opinion, your message. I understand. I stand with you. I feel this way. I don't understand. I need some help. Can someone help me with the message? What is really going on? I don't understand. So those things are all appropriate to say. Then we have celebrities and, like I said, fashion designers and people on that group are saying things online, and they're not caring if they lose followers because they're sticking with their message. This is how I feel. Nike, this is how we feel. We're putting out a video. And they set the tone for the other businesses over the weekend to say what they need to say. So
Mm-hmm.
all voices are okay. All messages are okay. Just the hate ones are not okay. The ones of hate and racist and violence, and those things are not okay. But a business needs to say, I understand, this is how I feel, this is what I'm doing, or I don't understand, this is how I feel, I need someone to help me understand. And both sides are okay. That's why I said, is it business as usual? And some people are thinking that it's business as usual. And what do? So I say be silent and think about your message and what you want to say. So there. I know it's a big topic. I tried to get it all in an hour. We
You know
ran
what?
over.
It's just because it's just as diverse as every individual. It's such an individual,
Mm-hmm.
um, such
Yeah,
an
things are changing. Brenna has to go. Okay. Thanks, Brenna. I appreciate your what you had to say, because it adds to the conversation. Is another side of it. Um, Jill says, in times like this, business reputation, history, and client relationship goes a long way. Who has a business has been historically not just since COVID-19 or the last week. Are you talking about who, the World Health Organization, or just who? Because I know you got it in capital letters. I want to make sure I got that right. Okay. So I mean, whew, take a breath as a business owner. Take a breath. It's a lot.
that
It's a
says a
lot.
lot from the
A
breathing
lot.
space, right? Just wow.
A lot. And like I said, I've taken this time to wait, and I'm reading and I'm looking, and like I said, I found out a family member that went to one of the um riots, the protests. Well, it wasn't a
Mhm.
riot, it was a protest, and how things were happening to them and how they felt. So that's why I asked them. And then I woke up this morning and I said the lyrics to Aaliyah song was in my head. I'm like, it's there for a reason. And I went to look up the lyrics. I said, okay, I'm going to use this in my post that I do. But I've been posting stuff on my personal Facebook page the whole time, because that's where I felt like, okay, I don't have to not craft a message, but I can your personal page is where you can pretty much, this is how I feel, and don't feel like a backlash is coming from your customers or your audience. Whereas on my business page, I want to have something that says what I wanted to say and fit the audience and what's going on.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
And I just want you to just think about that. And Jill says, so true, Jill. Breathe space says no. Oh, sorry. Who has a sorry? Who a
She was
business? Oh,
editing
okay.
her statement up there.
Oh, okay. Cause see, sometimes when I see WHO capital, I always think about the organization, but she meant who, the word who. I appreciate everybody's thoughts and comments. I mean, everybody's, and like Gabby said, that don't feel like you're pressured into saying something right now when you don't know what to say. Don't feel the pressure. If you want, like I said, if you want to post pictures of flowers and quotes, that's good too. But if they're quotes that are motivating people to get into a more positive space, that's good too. We need that. We need positive thoughts. We need links to help. We need
Mhm.
people that are talking about how they're angry. We need to hear people that are gone to the protest, like my family member. We need to hear young voices, older voices. Everybody needs to be heard, is what I'm saying. So post when you feel like this resonates with me and I want to post this, no matter what it is. Okay. And Jill, I appreciate you more than you know, everybody. Thank you. Because the conversation that we're having, and I'm never sure when I bring a topic on Tuesday, I'm never sure. I'm like, it feels right to me, but I'm like, okay, is it right to talk about at this particular time? And every time on Tuesday when I bring it, I'm like, this is right because of the conversation that we're having and the opinions and the thoughts and
Yeah.
everybody that's coming and saying that this is okay, that this is right. So,
Yes, I
and I
think it's time we talked about the elephant in the room.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I always try to say, how does this apply to business and digital marketing and running your business and growing your business? And this is it. I said, okay, when Nike did their thing on Friday, I said, there we are. There we are. So we've run over. Thank you everybody for being here, for bringing all your thoughts and questions, opinions, and having this great conversation about something that's difficult and will continue to be difficult until we, like I said, we're turning over the earth
Hmm.
and planning something new that's going to be bigger and better and beautiful and helps everybody for society. So it's bad now. Yes, it's bad. And some people feel this way and some people feel that way, but we're all going to come through it and hopefully something will grow out of this that's better for us all, especially for business owners. Because the
Yes.
ones that are hurting now, I really feel it's really horrible to have your business burnt down or destroyed, and it's a place where you're hopeless. But I want you to think, and I said this earlier before, about this is the opportunity now for growth. It's still there. It's still there for growing a business, growing another business, having more than one business. This
Mm.
opportunity is there. That's what I mean about the earth turning over. That's the opportunity for you to grow into something that's bigger and better than what we are. Okay. So thank you. Thank you. Um, Bonnie, thank you for being here.
Thanks,
And
Bonnie.
I listened to
Thanks,
Bonnie's podcast
ladies.
the other day. So follow Bonnie, follow Jill, Breathing Space, Gabby, Khalid was here, William. Follow each other, guys. Support each other. Let's have the conversation. We're
Carlos
going to.
is in here today.
Carlos is here. Love
Brenna,
Carlos. Jenna, thank you, thank you. All your voices matter. Everybody
Jerry,
does.
how
So
you doing, Jerry Scott?
yes, thank you. So we will be back tomorrow with Coach Karen, right, Carolina?
Coach Karen will be here talking about your money mindset
Yes,
and bringing profits in daily. So
yes.
don't forget to tune in. We'll be here at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to go to the front of your own line. Remember, you can find Terry everywhere online at Terry Johnson Online.
And
We love
Biz
you. And
Chicks
we'll see you
and the
tomorrow.
Bitchy Group. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye bye.